we are still on Kubernetes. We have seen how we can use kubeadm for a self-managed Kubernetes cluster. We've also seen how we can use EKS for a cloud-managed Kubernetes cluster. So this time around, we want to look at KOps, Kubernetes operations. KOps. Okay. At the moment, KOps supports AWS, right? AWS is currently officially supported by KOps. And we can see that DigitalOcean, GCE, and OpenStack are in beta support. And Azure is in alpha support. Okay. So current date is 26th of August, 2022. And hopefully we can see full support for all these other cloud platforms. Okay, now let's look at how this works, okay? For us to be able to use KOps, okay, we need to have some things within our environment, okay? Firstly, we need to have kubectl, which is the Kubernetes CLI, installed in our environment. Also, we need to have KOps itself. Now, for us to be able to run things, right, we need to have some credentials set up, right? Amazon Web Services credential setup, right? So we need to have the AWS CLI also in our environment. So let's start by getting all this in before we overload ourselves too much. Okay, so firstly, I want to bring in kubectl. Okay, let me install kubectl. So to install kubectl, I want to use an Ubuntu server. So let me install binary, install kubectl binary. Okay, with curl. Okay, so I have this. So let me go ahead and install kubectl. Okay, so that's done. So the next step is to, okay, step 2 is optional, so I want to skip that. Then I want to go to step 3 to install kubectl. I've downloaded it, so now I'm installing it, and I'm installing it. Okay, so let's install. Okay, so now that I'm done installing, tells what I want to do. I want to check the version of what I've installed. Okay, let's check the version of what I've installed. So let's have that in. Okay, so now that I've done this, what else do I want to do? I want to bring KOps into my environment, okay? KOps should be installed on a 64-bit device architecture, okay? So, and that's what I have set up, okay? So I want to proceed to install KOps. So let's see, install KOps. KOps. I want to. Okay, to install KOps, let's see. I want to install KOps on Linux. So these are the commands. Okay, so these are the commands. Let me take it one at a time. That's the first one. Okay, so to install KOps. So this one downloads. Okay, so what else do I want to do? That's the latest version. It's what I've downloaded. So the next thing I want to add executable permissions, execute permission to KOps. Okay, so then finally, what I want to do is to put KOps in usl/usl/local/bin/KOps so that I can run KOps command from anywhere. Okay, so I run that. Okay, so now that I'm done with that, so what else do I want to do? Okay, so I've installed kubectl. I've also gone ahead and installed KOps. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is to bring the AWS CLI into my environment. Okay, so let me install AWS CLI. Let's close this. AWS CLI. Right, let me install AWS CLI. Okay, so that's what we are doing. I want to install it on Linux. Okay, so these are the steps. First step, right? I run this. Okay, so the next step, let's see what it is. I want to unzip, but because this is a new server, I do not have unzip installed yet. Can quickly install that. Sudo apt install unzip. Okay, so let me, okay, it's installed. So what else do I want to do? I now want to unzip. Okay, so once I unzip, okay, then after unzipping, I want to install. Okay, I want to install now. So my version is, okay, so that's the version I have. Okay, so this fine. Now that I've done all of this, okay, I have kubectl, I have KOps, I have AWS CLI. So now I want to set up a user, which I'll need to configure to start running things, okay? So to get this done, there are certain permissions that needs to be added to this user that I want to create. Okay, so I want to create a user. Let's go to IAM. Okay, I want to go to IAM to create a user, and I'll need to now I'll need to attach certain policies to this user so that we can get some things done. Okay, so I want to add users. I'll call this user KOPS. Okay, KOPS, Kubernetes operations. I want this guy to have programmatic access so that we can get an access key ID and secret access key so that we can use the AWS CLI. Okay, so click on next. So there are certain policies that I need to attach. Okay, firstly, I need the EC2 full access because of the creations, the nodes that we created and all of that. Okay, I'll also need to have the S3 bucket access. Okay, so I also need to have the IAM access. Let's just pick them from here, have them documented here. Okay, so these are the permissions I'll need to attach to that user. Amazon EC2 full, okay, in case you need this, but what we'll be doing today, I'll not be creating any resource using this, but we'll add it as well. I need this because I need an S3 bucket. I need to create roles, okay? I need VPC full access. So these other ones, I will not need them, but I'll just make sure I have everything since these are the permissions required, okay? So I can go ahead and get this done here, okay? So let's copy them one after the other so we can have them in, okay? So this is the first policy that I want to attach to that user. So we are not putting all the policies in a user group. We just want to attach them directly, which is also a possibility. Okay, first one attached. So what else? Let's pick the second one. Come here. Check it. Okay. Come here. S3 full access. Copy this. Paste it here. And check it. Okay. So what else do I want to do? I am full access. Copy this. Paste. And check the box. Okay, I want to copy this. Okay, so I want to have Amazon VPC full. So I want to add this as well. Okay, so let's add that. Check it. Then finally, let's have this. Copy, paste, and we check it. Okay, so next, review. So let's create user. So let's confirm that I have 7 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So create user. Now that I have my user created, I want to download this so that I don't have to create another one when I come in and I can't find it. Okay, so we have all this all set up. So what's the next thing I'll need to do? Since I've created this user with these policies attached to the user, right? What I need to do now is to configure the AWS CLI with these permissions, okay? So to configure, it's a simple command, right? So we run, let's clear this. So run AWS configure, okay? So this will prompt us to enter our access key ID, okay, so which we have generated here, access key ID, right? So copy that and paste it here. Then it prompts us to enter secret access key, which you can also get here. Secret access key, show, copy. Okay, so secret access key. I want to enter that now. Secret access key. Before to join name, I want to leave it as none. I want to leave this blank. Okay, so that's fine. So we've done this. So we've configured our credentials. So now to confirm the users that we have configured, right? Since this is a new server, so I'm not expecting to see any other user other than this one that we configured. But in case you have user setup, right? You might want to confirm that. But anyway, let's just check that. Say AWS IAM, AWS IAM. Now say list dash users. Okay, list users. AWS IAM list dash users. So I have this user KOps, right? So created this, you can see. So now that I've done this, what else do I want to do? Okay, so the next thing I want to do is to see how I can create my S3 bucket. Okay, so to create my S3 bucket, I want to say S3 bucket, right, is what I want to create. Okay, so let me clear this. Let me copy. Okay, let me copy. Let's copy. I have something here. Okay, to create S3 bucket, I'll specify AWS space S3 API create dash bucket. Then we put the flag dash bucket. Then this is the bucket name. Okay, it has to be a unique name, and there are certain formats that we need to follow, right, for us to get it right in terms of the naming. Okay, so I want it created in US East, US-East-1. Okay, so if you choose to create it elsewhere, there are certain other configurations that you require. Okay, so I copy this, then I paste it here. So this way I create my bucket. Okay, and see this bucket, this is the location, this bucket has been created. Okay, so we might want to see the list of buckets that I have, right? I can say AWS S3 LS, right? I want to see a list of buckets that I have. Okay, so I have these buckets created before, right? So this is the new bucket I have now, right? So I have this new bucket and I have this bucket created sometime before. Okay, so this is a new bucket I have. So S3 AWS S3 LS. Okay, so this is the one we are working with. So just take note of that. Okay, so now that I have this, so I want to proceed to the next step. Okay, now, if you recall, we add access key, ID setup, and secret access key, okay? So the thing is, if you look at AWS configure, it doesn't automatically export those variables for KOps to use, okay? So we need to set environmental variables, okay? So to do this, we can VI, if it's just one-off, right? We can just run the command, right? These commands, we can run them directly on the, okay, these commands. We can decide to run these commands directly where we have it here, right? I can decide to run these commands here. So I can say, let me change this to take the 1 to 3 cluster. Okay, so we can decide to copy this and run on the command line. Alternatively, I can VI into my .bash rc file and paste this here, there, okay? So let's go to .bash, VI to .bash because I'm already at home. Otherwise, I would have specified this, okay? Well, bash, let me just write it in full. rc, okay? So when I veer into this file, I want to go to the bottom, right? Let's go to the bottom of this file and, right? To go to the end, okay? Then paste those environmental variables that I've copied, okay? So what else? So if we also go ahead and look at what we have down here, let's see. Okay, we have something up here. We also need to, the one I mentioned earlier, about setting up variables for KOps to use because AWS does not export them automatically. So you can copy this as well, right? You can copy this and paste them here, right? This is the file, so I can paste this here as well. So our environmental variables all set in the .bash rc file. Okay, so now that we've done this, to make sure this takes effect, we want to run the source command to refresh it. Source, okay? So you run the source command, okay, to refresh that file, okay? That whatever we've done can take effect. Now that we've done this, let's just confirm what we have there. Take down Canada 1, 2, 3. Okay. Take the 1, 2, 3 cluster dot. Okay, so this is the name of the cluster I want to create. Okay, so that's fine. So just wanted to be sure everything is looking good. Okay, so now that we've done this, what else do we want to do, right? The next step for us, okay, is that we want to generate SSH keys, okay? I want to generate SSH keys. Let me play this. I want to generate SSH keys. Let me clear this. Clear. Okay, so to generate SSH keys, say SSH dash key gen. Okay, so we generate SSH key. Okay, we do want to put it in a different file. No, just want it to go to the default. So default is what I want. So you see, RSA public key generated, private key generated. Okay, So we are all set. So now that we have this, we can now go ahead and create our cluster configuration. So to create our cluster configuration, we need to run KOps, right? KOps cluster create. Okay, so KOps cluster create, right? When you run this, what we'll get is that certain defaults, right? But if we want to, we need to specify certain flags, okay? So that we don't work with defaults, okay? So there are some specific things we want in particular. I have some set up here, so let's see. You can see the flags I have set up, name, right? The cluster name, and we've set an environmental variable, okay? So we expect this to work. So let's just copy all of this, okay? So the cloud we are using is AWS. So I want this created in US-East-2A availability zone, right? So this is the public key that we generated. So the size of the manager node is t2.micro. That's what I want. So it could be more depending on the resource you want. So master count 1 to 1, right? If you want it in multiple availability zones, you can have 2, right? So for high availability, so node size T2 micro as well, since this is just for test, and node count, I want 2 nodes. So with this, I should be able to set up my cluster configuration. Okay, so I pick that up and go to my, let me go here, let me KOps cluster create, right? Then I set up these flags, okay? So this we pick from the environmental variables we set up. Okay, so if I run this, okay, so now it says, finally, I can configure my cluster, right? Saying I can configure my cluster using this command, okay? So kops update, minimize, see, kops update cluster dash dash name, take the 123 cluster dot kts dot local, right? Dash yes dash admin, okay? So it's giving me the command to run, okay? Then I copy all of this. Let's see where it takes us. Okay. Let me close this up. There's this yes. Okay. Dash dash yes dash dash admin. Okay, so let me run this. Okay. So this could take some time. Okay, cluster is starting. It should be ready in few minutes. So cluster is already starting. So let's check what we have up there. I created this in which zone? Let's see what I have. Created it in East. So it could take some time. Okay, so it's already created, initializing. So let's see all the resources that have been created for us. Okay, so this is just coming up, initializing. Take down 1, 2, 3 cluster. Take down 1, 2, 3 cluster, you can see. And this is the manager node, right? So everything has been named for us. So let's make it clear. Let's look at just the instances running. So this is where we are now. So we have the manager node and we have the other. Okay, so let's look at other resources that could have been created. Let's see, I expect that 2 other rows should have been created, right? 2 other I rows, right? And here they are. Take the 1, 2, 3 cluster .kx .local, right? This is the for the nodes for the manager plane. So we have this for the nodes. So these IAM rows were created. Okay. So what else was done for us? This time around, I do not expect to see an EKS cluster, right? Because this is not EKS, right? This is KOps, okay? So what else do we want to look at? We should also know that it is also possible for us to update, okay? So there's also something important we should look at doing, right? We should export configuration, kubeconfig, okay? So let's do that. Okay, so let's export kubeconfig. Let's see, this is where to get that. Yeah, we can export kubeconfig, right? Which is what we copied and pasted there. See, kubeconfig. Okay, so we've done that. So enter. So KOps has set your kubectl context to take down 1, 2, 3 cluster.k8 k8s.local. So what else do we want to do right now? So what we want to do, we've built our cluster, right? We've built our cluster based on the recommended command, okay? Yes, I'll just need to update that here with the --admin flag. Let's see, I think I have the --, yes, --admin. So we use the admin flag, okay? --yes, --admin. So the notes will be updated, okay? So we use the --admin flag as recommended by the platform, right? So what else we want to do? We've seen that those things that have been created for us, okay? So let's see if we can edit. Let's check this command. There's this command that we can also run to edit our cluster, right? So to edit your cluster, you can run KOps edit cluster, right? You can say KOps edit cluster, right? You can run it just this way, or you specify the -- name flag. So the cluster that was created for us, you can see what we have in it, right? See, configuration base, right? You see different details, regarding what we've created. Okay, so these are details regarding it. So you can see the zone where this was created, US East, US-East 2A, right? So all of these are, and you can see the version of Kubernetes that we have, 1.24.3. Okay, so now that we've done this, so let's exit without saving since we didn't make any modification. Okay, so now that we've done this, let's see what happens if we decide to run this command again, update cluster, right? Although we didn't make any modification, we could have made a modification, right, on that file. So if you run this again, right, you see no changes need to be applied. So everything seems to be in order. So let's run some kubectl commands. Let's start with kubectl get nodes. Let's see what we get out of that. Okay. Now that we have our our servers all set up, we can now choose to SSH into the servers. Okay, so here are the instances that have been created for us. We have 3 instances created. Let's take a look at this first. Okay, let's copy the IP address and let's proceed to, okay, so we say SSH, so once SSH-I, then specify the location of the file, right, that we are looking for. So, okay, before then, let's even, let's ls or ll. The file is the home directory slash dot ssh. There's a folder. This is a directory. Okay, so let's see what we have here. So this is the file we are looking at using. That's the private key. Okay, so is what we need to connect via SSH. So let's proceed and say SSH dash I, right? What's the file name? File name is, let's use the absolute path slash dot SSH, right? Slash, file name is ID underscore RSA, okay? So the location, who is the user? User is Ubuntu, right? And Ubuntu lives at this public IP address. Okay, so this is what we have, SSH-I, then this is the file name here. Okay, Ubuntu is the user at this IP address. So if we enter, good evening, my system resources. Okay, it took a long time. It took a long time. So we've been able to SSH into the other server. So if we exit, let's exit. Let's see. So this is the other server. So you can check call if config.co. This is so slow. Okay, so this confirms that that's the instance that we logged into. Okay, so 3.21.21.0. Okay, so that's the instance we logged into. So if we exit, takes us back to the server we had every installation done. So let's see if we are able to SSH into one worker node as well. So let's call the last command and change the IP address. So let's just log into a worker node. So let's check the instances. Let's pick this, for example. Let's take this. Okay, so let's paste this here. So it's asking, are you sure you want to connect? Yes. So it has logged into the second one. So if we run call if config, what did I type? Oh, if config.co. Okay. So we can see this is the IP address. So it shows we've been able to SSH into this server. So now that we are done with this, so let's assume we are through with this server. So let's exit from here. So we can go back to the previous server, right? And try to, okay, let's delete the resources that we've created, right? All the resources we've created. We've created IAM roles, we've created instances, right? These instances were just created. So we can run a command to delete. Okay, so to delete all the resources, we can come back here, right? This is the server, original server that we had. Okay, so we've exited from the manager plane and the worker node. So let's run this command, okay, to delete everything we've created. So we can say KOps, right? Delete cluster dash name. The name is equal to $, right? We already set up our environmental variables. We say this is name. Okay. So we set that up, name. Okay. So we set that up. We can run this, right? So we must specify -- yes to delete. Okay. So let's add -- yes flag to delete. Okay. So let's see the resources that we created and see that they have been deleted. Shutting down. Okay. So let's check the IAM console. These two guys were created. Let's see. It could take some time for all these deletion to get completed. Let's see what we have. So those rows are gone. We had 14, now we have 12. What else did we create? Okay. What else did we create? Let's see. So this terminated already. So let's just check on the command line and see the status. So you can see route tables and all of those things are getting deleted. So let's just check them out while it's deleting. That's a VPC. In Ohio. See route tables. Okay, we have 2 VPCs, right? So this is the one that will soon get deleted. Subnets, right? So the subnet relates to that, okay? Then let's see route tables. You can see take the 1, 2, 3 cluster. Internet gateways, you can see we have this internet gateway for that. Was there any NAT gateway? No NAT gateway. Okay, so let's see endpoints, no endpoint service. Okay, so what else? No elastic IP. All right, so let's see whether it's done. It's in, okay, deleted cluster. So let's go and refresh what we had, what we saw just now, your VPCs. Let's refresh this. Okay, so that other VPC is gone. Let's see the subnet. See, the one with take down 1, 2, 3 is gone. Route table, one with take down 1, 2, 3 is gone. Internet gateways, the one with take down 1, 2, 3 is gone. So with this, we come to an end of Kubernetes with KOps. Okay, Kubernetes operations. See you in another session. Thank you.